Getting set up and taking some measurements for Teddy's turbine side. What I have here, I'm going to be running the exhaust manifolds. I have some nice flanges here, and what I'm going to be doing is ordering these, measuring roughly at 2.5 inches, and this is 3 inches of pipe work right here. So these flanges are going to be coming off 2 into 1 Y pipe, and then this Y pipe, 3-inch Y pipe, is going to be an inlet for the turbine side. So this is going to be a pretty nice setup. We're going to have 5 inches of piping bottlenecking into a 3-inch pipe going to the turbine side. That's going to be a lot of force on that turbine side to give some pretty good spool up. This turbo is rated at 1500 horsepower, so we're going to try to push everything that we can get out of this bad boy before we have to step up to anything larger. Alright, intake flanges came. They look very good, very good. Already have the exhaust flanges. They came in, I matched them up. So this will be the turbine inlet flange as well as our exhaust flange for our downpipe. This section, of course, bolts up to the turbo. Looks pretty good. And for our speed center. Detail is very important. I came across these that were sliding out of the block. They're like squirters. They lubricate the bearings and the main crank journals, and had I not been paying attention, these would have fell out, and I possibly could have not installed everything doing reassembly, and it would not have been good. Could have been premature bearing failure. But anyway, up here's the way the block is. It's nothing over here in journal 7, but 1 through 6 journals have them. So for example, I have a magnet right here. Turn off the light so it can be observed a lot better. Clamp with some vice grips, and I can stick this down inside. Try to pull it out like that. These just fell out on its own, and had I not been paying attention, that could have been possibly catastrophic. And the same goes for Teddy's block. I'm pulling it out. I'm finished taking the bolts out and getting everything prepped for the machine shop. So he has the oil pump out, but we have to finish the removal of the other part for the oil pump. So that whole sleeve's got to come out also. I'll pull out the rest of the bolts, but look at here. fell out of the block. So this could have been catastrophic for both of us. So good thing I'm being very patient, taking my time. And the ones that fell out, you can see it's missing right there. And the other ones that's missing, that one's in. That one fell out. So good thing for detail and patience, because these are going to be some very powerful builds. We want this thing to be as reliable and powerful as possible, which it will be. Well, I'm still working on Teddy's block. I took just a crank sensor off on the front. 3 of these are seized up in here. They're stuck, they're not coming out. So I'm pretty sure once this engine goes to the engine clean, it's going to free them up and they may be lost. So what I'm going to do, look like journal 2, 3, and 6 is stuck in there. So I have the other ones out, put them in a nice little Ziploc bag, but I'm trying to get the remaining 3 out. I've tried all kind of things so far. I've literally tried to blow air into one of the ports to kind of free it up, and that bad boy still sees, and they're pretty tight. So I'm gonna put some penetrating oil in there, see if I can free them up and continue to try to get these out. I got the last one out, so I put penetrating oil in the hole, blowing air in there, and blocking 14 ports right here, and blocking those with the penetrating oil. After trying over and over and over again, so that's the last one out. So I have all 6 of them out of Teddy's block. Good to go. Okay, another thing that I like to do when I prep a lot of the blocks before I take them to the machine shop is any type of ports or coolant jackets. I usually want to clean these out very thorough, so that way when you put the new tube in and the O-ring, it can seal very good. Any type of old material like plastic or O-ring stuck in the inside, you want to clean that out pretty good. Okay, this is the second part of the oil pump in Teddy's block. So I learned a little trick on how to get mine out. I ran screws down into this piece right here. What makes it so tight to get out is an O-ring that goes all the way around that seals it in pretty tight. So I've ran bolts in. I'll stagger the bolts and clamp vice grips onto the bolts and then tap up with a hammer, and that usually will pull it out. So I'll take another picture of when I have it out. Man, this sucker was in there. I tried tapping with vice grips and everything, it wouldn't work. I had to literally get a pry bar, put a bolt in and wedge against the block, and as you can see now, it's freeing up and it's coming out. But I had to wedge very tight in order to pull this bad boy out of here. So I finally got the other half of Teddy's oil pump out. So now we have to order a new oil pump, as well as a water pump too, so that way when we have a engine, we'll go back in with fresh parts. But it's out. That O-ring was in there and it was sealed in there very tight. Okay, I'm out here in the rain taking some measurements for ordering some new wheels for Teddy car. So I have a Percy's wheel simulator that I have set up on the car. Right now I have it currently set up for a 9.5-inch front wheel with an offset of 20. That puts the wheels even with the fenders. So you can take a look right here. I have the wide fender flare on. And if I come up under here and just give a reference, you'll see that it's just a little bit almost even perfectly with the fender flare. And then we can run some stretch wheels on the rims, which will kind of tuck it inside to give it a nice offset look. similar to what I have here on my Jetta. As you can see, my wheels are wider than the fender flares, but I got offset tires. The tires are stretched to kind of tuck underneath the fender flare. Same as well as with my TT. Rain is picking up. Okay. All right, I made another adjustment. I made an offset of 15 ET15 with an 8.5-inch wheel. And as you can see, that pretty much balances out just the same. Is perfectly even with the fender flare. So we wouldn't have to run as wide of a rim on the front of the car. But yet, we're still even with the fender flare. So that's a nice setup also. If we run an ET of 15, we wouldn't have to run any type of spacers, which would be a nice offset. Sets the wheels up even with the fender flares. And still have quick steer and turn in without having such a wide tire on the front.